A kid called the police because his mom beat him with a belt after he ditched school. But instead of showing this as a moment of real distress, the show frames the kid as being bratty, like he called the cops out of spite, not because he was scared or hurt. Then the cop arrives, and instead of helping the kid, he yells at him, threatens to beat him himself if he ever does that again, and tells him to go back inside. The way the scene is shot, it's clear you're supposed to side with the cop, like he's setting the kid straight. But when I watched it, all I could think was, that kid didn't learn respect. He learned fear. He learned that calling the police for help was a mistake. What the cop did wasn't discipline, it was abuse. I know the title of this video and my opinion might stir up mixed reactions. Discipline isn't abuse. If a kid doesn't get hit, they never learn. There's a limit. Being hit once for doing something bad is just discipline. I was beaten as a child and turned out fine. I'm thankful my father beat the stupidity out of me. But here's the thing, you turned out great despite it, not because of it. When I was 7, my dad grabbed my chin after I did something that made him furious. He squeezed hard enough to hurt, his finger waving inches from my face as he said, "Not even the Lord will help you if you do that again." So far so good, right? I must have deserved it. The thing is, I don't remember what I did. All I remember was his reaction, the way my body froze. And the lesson that stuck with me for almost 20 years was that if I made him angry, I'd feel that pain again. Not to respect him for something I don't even remember. Let's look at a few examples. If a kid swears at home and gets hit with a belt, what do they actually learn? Not that swearing is bad, but that swearing near their parents gets them beaten. They might still swear, but only when they won't get caught. If a kid accidentally breaks something and gets hit after admitting it, they don't learn responsibility or to be mindful of their surroundings, but that telling the truth leads to pain. That if they had lied, they wouldn't have been hit. So they learn that lying is safer. Fear doesn't teach morality, it teaches survival. Same thing happens in this scene. Forget for a moment the mother's reason for beating her kid with a belt. Sure, she needed to address what he did, but not like that. That wasn't discipline. That wasn't the right way to teach a child right and wrong. But what the cop did was even worse. That kid standing there, getting screamed at by a big man in uniform, being threatened with violence if he ever does that again, isn't learning right from wrong. He's learning something else entirely. He's learning that cops and people bigger than him can abuse their power without consequence. That they can lash out when they feel like it, and no one will stop them. That calling for help was a mistake. He won't respect his mother for hitting him with the belt. He won't trust that cop for teaching him a lesson. He'll just fear them. And one day, when he actually needs help and understanding, he won't call anyone. Because the last time he did, all he learned was to stay silent. For a lot of us, it's all we've ever known. We don't question it because we survived it, because our parents told us it was for our own good. And yeah, maybe it turned out okay. Maybe you don't think it affected you. But let me ask you something. Do you second guess yourself constantly, afraid of making a mistake that will set someone off? Do you feel like you have to prove your worth, to work twice as hard just to be good enough? Do you struggle to say no because you were taught that disobedience leads to punishment? Do you stay silent when someone mistreats you because you learned that speaking up only makes things worse? Do you feel anxious around authority figures even when you've done nothing wrong? If so, maybe it did affect you. And if you still feel the need to justify it, to convince yourself it was necessary, then deep down, maybe you already know that you didn't deserve it. And if you ever felt like you had to earn your parents' love by avoiding their anger, then maybe, just maybe, you deserve better. That's it. Thank you for watching and have a pleasant day.